Narration, exciting and fast-paced. Imagine going back 70,000 years, before cities, before machines, villages, then great empires like Egypt and Rome. We hold the entire world in our hands through computers and smartphones. This is the incredible story of human civilization, from caves to fire, expanded. Narration. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a world 70,000 years ago. No cities, no roads, no electricity, just endless forests, open plains, and a constant struggle to survive. Every day was a fight, not against other humans, but against nature itself. Stone tools were the first big step. Early humans picked up sharp rocks and realized they could shape them into something better, a tool for hunting, cutting, and building. These weren't just random stones. They were the first technology. A sharpened edge could slice meat from an animal or carve wood for shelter. It was a small change, but it gave humans power that no other animal had. Then came the greatest discovery of all, fire. It wasn't just warmth in the cold or light in the darkness. Fire scared away predators, cooked food to make it safe, and allowed people to survive in places they never could before. But fire wasn't easy to make. Many believe early humans first saw it from lightning strikes or volcanic eruptions, and then learned to keep it alive for days, weeks, even months. Fire turned night into day, and survival into progress. And as they sat around those fires, something magical happened. Cave paintings. Deep inside dark caves, they painted animals they hunted, stories they lived, and dreams they imagined. Using natural colors made from crushed stones, they covered the walls with symbols and shapes. These were the first signs of human imagination, the first form of art, history, and communication. Life in this time was harsh. Every day, people hunted wild animals, gathered plants, and faced dangers we can't imagine today, from giant predators to freezing winters. But step by step, they learned. They invented, they adapted. Stone tools made hunting possible. Fire made life longer and safer. Cave paintings made memory and culture real. And without these first three steps, humanity's story would have ended before it even began. We often think of technology as computers and rockets, but it all started with a rock, a flame, and a story on a cave wall. That was the spark that lit the journey of civilization. Birth of farming and cities, expanded. Narration. Thousands of years passed, and humans began to notice something amazing. The wild plants they gathered, wheat, rice, barley, didn't just grow randomly. If they put seeds in the ground, watered them, and waited, new plants would grow in the same place. This was the beginning of farming. Instead of chasing animals across dangerous lands or searching for food every single day, people learned to grow it themselves. Wheat, rice, corn, they planted crops in neat rows, cared for them, and harvested when the time was right. Farming gave humans something they never had before: stability. No more constant moving from place to place. They could stay in one area and prepare for the future. And where there was farming, there was water. People built their homes close to rivers, the lifelines of early civilization. The rivers gave them drinking water, fertile soil, and even fish to eat. Great rivers like the Nile in Egypt, the Tigris and Euphrates in Mesopotamia, the Indus in South Asia, and the Yellow River in China became the cradles of human civilization. Without these rivers, farming would have been impossible. Over time, these small farming villages grew bigger. Families became communities, and communities became cities. In these cities, people traded goods, grain for tools, meat for pottery. Markets appeared, walls were built for protection, and leaders began to organize the work. With cities came new jobs. Not everyone had to farm anymore. Some became builders, traders, artists, or soldiers. Life became more complex and more connected. This was a turning point in human history. Farming meant food could be stored for the winter. Villages meant safety in numbers. Cities meant innovation and growth. But it also meant new challenges, disagreements over land, competition for resources, and the need for rules and leaders. Still, this leap from wandering hunter-gatherers to settled farmers was one of the greatest revolutions in our story. It transformed how we lived, worked, and thought. The seeds planted thousands of years ago didn't just grow into crops, they grew into civilizations. The world was no longer just wild and empty. It was dotted with farms, buzzing villages, and cities filled with life. Humanity had taken its first great step toward the empires, inventions, and achievements that were yet. The age of great empires expanded. Narration. Humanity had learned to farm, build villages, and create cities. But now, it was time for ambition. People wanted more than survival. They wanted power, glory, and greatness. This was the age of empires. In the deserts of Egypt, under the blazing sun, rose the giant pyramids, massive stone tombs built for pharaohs, rulers believed to be gods on earth. Each pyramid took decades to build, with thousands of workers hauling giant limestone blocks. These structures weren't just tombs, they were symbols of power that still stand after more than 4,000 years. Egypt became famous for its art, writing, and mighty Nile River that gave life to its people. Far to the east, in Babylon, one of the most stunning wonders of the ancient world was built, the Hanging Gardens. Imagine towering terraces filled with lush plants and flowing waterfalls in the middle of a dry desert. Babylon was a city of knowledge, trade, and beauty, with massive walls protecting it from enemies. Across the Mediterranean, Greece rose with its temples dedicated to gods like Zeus and Athena. But Greece gave the world more than beautiful marble buildings. It gave us philosophy, democracy, theater, and the Olympic Games. Cities like Athens and Sparta shaped the very ideas of freedom, politics, and culture. And then came Rome, the empire that stretched across Europe, Africa, and Asia. Roman engineers built roads so strong they still exist today. Roman laws and languages shaped the future of nations. Their armies were unmatched, and their cities were filled with aqueducts, amphitheaters, and markets buzzing with life. This was an age of both creation and destruction. Great walls and palaces were built, but also great wars were fought. Empires expanded, swallowing smaller kingdoms. Borders shifted constantly, and history was written in blood and stone. But from Egypt's golden sands to Babylon's gardens, from Greece's marble temples to Rome's vast empire, this was the time when humanity proved it could dream bigger than ever before. We learned how to organize millions of people, how to build wonders that could last forever, and how to connect cultures across continents. These empires shaped the laws, languages, and ideas that still influence our lives today. The world was no longer just villages and small towns. It was now a stage for powerful civilizations that would echo through the ages. Trade, knowledge, and change expanded. Narration. Empires rose, and just as quickly, some fell. But with every change of power, the world became more connected. This was a time when goods, ideas, and cultures began to flow across continents, and history started moving faster. Wars were fought across kingdoms and empires. Armors clashed with swords, spears, and arrows. Castles and city walls were built to protect people, but no wall could hold forever. Kings and queens played a constant game of power, winning lands one year, losing them the next. Every battle redrew the map of the world. But it wasn't all war. Across deserts, mountains, and seas, trade routes grew. The most famous of these was the Silk Road, a network of paths stretching thousands of miles from China to Europe. Traders carried silk, spices, gold, and precious gems, but they also carried ideas, inventions, and even diseases that changed history forever. In Europe and Asia, mighty castles rose from the hills. These stone fortresses were not just homes for rulers, they were military strongholds, watching over lands and trade routes. Knights in shining armor trained to defend them, following codes of honor and loyalty. Then came a spark of creativity and curiosity, the Renaissance. It began in Italy and spread across Europe, bringing art, science, and literature to new heights. Artists like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo painted and sculpted works that still inspire us today. Scientists began to question old beliefs, studying the stars, the human body, and the laws of nature. One invention changed everything: the printing press. Before this, books were copied by hand, making them rare and expensive. But now, ideas could be printed and shared quickly. Knowledge spread to farmers, merchants, and students, not just kings and priests. It was the first step toward mass education, and it gave power to the people through information. This period was a bridge between the old world and the modern age. It was a time when war and peace, destruction and creation, existed side by side. Trade connected continents, castles guarded kingdoms, and the Renaissance opened minds. The printing press turned whispers of ideas into waves of change. The stage was now set for the biggest transformation in human history, the leap into the modern industrial world. The modern and digital age expanded narration. The world stood on the edge of something completely new. Centuries of farming, trading, and building had prepared humanity for its next great leap, a leap into machines, speed, and global connection. It began with steam engines in the 18th century. These powerful machines could pump water, run factories, and move trains across entire countries. For the first time in history, human and animal muscles were no longer the main source of power. Steam drove giant iron wheels, carried goods faster than ever, and made cities grow like never before. Then came cars, small enough for individuals to travel wherever they wanted, whenever they wanted. Roads stretched across nations, connecting villages, towns, and cities. And above those roads, the skies came alive with airplanes. What once took months to cross by sea could now be done in hours. The world began to shrink. Cultures that had never met before now shook hands, traded, and shared ideas. In 1969, humanity took one of its most daring steps, the moon landing. For the first time, humans left Earth and walked on another world. It was a moment of pure human achievement, proving that our reach could extend beyond the sky. Then came a revolution of a different kind, the digital age. Computers became smaller, faster, and smarter. They weren't just machines for scientists anymore. They began to enter homes, schools, and offices. The internet connected these computers together, creating a global network of information, trade, and communication. Messages that once took weeks to deliver could now be sent in seconds. Businesses, entertainment, and even friendships began to exist in a digital space. And finally, the smartphone put all of this into the palm of our hands. Maps, music, movies, news, and entire libraries now fit in our pockets. The world's knowledge and its people were just a tap away. Today, humanity stands at another turning point. Artificial intelligence, renewable energy, and space exploration are pushing us into a future we can only imagine. We are connected like never before, but the challenges we face are just as great. From steam to smartphones, from villages to a global community, our journey shows one thing clearly. The story of humanity is far from over. In fact, it may have only just begun. Narration, friendly and energetic. And if you enjoyed this journey through time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because the story of humanity has so many more chapters to tell, and you won't want to miss the next one. On-screen text plus animation. Like, subscribe, share. Hope.